We also have to learn what are the different methods in teaching. So in higher education institutions, what are the different methods that a teacher can adopt in teaching so that it becomes more interesting, and what are the things that we have to give importance to? Do we have to give more importance to the learners? Do we have to give importance to the content? Or do we have to give importance to the way it is taught, active participation or something like that? So what are the different methods of teaching that we can use in higher education institutions, and at the same time what are some online methods and offline methods of teaching? So first, there are mainly 4 types of teaching methods: teacher centric method, learner centric method, content centric method, and interactive method. So these are the main 4 types of teaching methods. The teacher centric method, the teacher, he or she is the master of the subject, the learners are passive, they are not much active, they are just mere receivers of knowledge. And one of the example is the lecture method, whereby the teacher just keeps on lecturing, the students just keep on hearing, there is no feedback, there is only one way communication, and that is the teacher centric method. Those types of methods are not actually very well received right in this age, but still in some portions or in some areas lecture methods are very necessary. The second one is a learner centric method, whereby the teacher plays a dual role. A teacher is a teacher as well as a learner. He or she stands with the learners so that the learners can grasp well. The teacher is a resource rather than an authority. So the teacher is a resource person. He is just a provider of knowledge, and the students, instead of being a mere receiver of knowledge, the students receive knowledge as well as ask questions, they give feedbacks, they give suggestions. So it is a learner centric method. So one of the examples is discussion methods or debates or something like that. Then comes the content centric method, whereby both teachers and students are learners. The subject is regarded as very important and it widens the horizon of knowledge. So both the teacher and learner, what they do is they study together, they go deep inside a subject together. So they study together, and here the main importance or the main focus is given to the subject. The last one is the interactive or the participative method, in which it borrows the concept from all the 3 above. It borrows concept from the teacher centric method, the learner centric method, as well as the content centric method. It is doing the most appropriate thing as per the situation, but there will be participation from the teachers as well as the students. So what happens is, if the situation demands that it should be a lecture method, we will take the lecture method. If the situation demands it should be a debate or a discussion, we will go by that way. If the situation demands that there should be a projector and a computer and we should teach in an ICT based method, it will be that way. So it is actually an interact, but in all these situations there should be interaction and participation from the teacher and the student. So these are the main 4 methods of teaching: the teacher centric method, the learner centric method, the content centric method, and as well as the participative method or the interactive method. Now the teacher centric method and the learner centric method are actually the more important ones, and there should be a combination of both to actually make the class interesting. So what are the differences between the teacher centric method and the learner centric method? The teacher centric method is more conventional, whereas the learner centric method is a relatively modern concept. The focus is more on the teacher in the teacher centric method, whereas in the other the focus is on the learner. At first the teacher centric method, he or she delivers lectures, but in the other thing the students actively participate in the learning process. Then the teacher centric method is less flexible as far as the students are concerned, whereas in the learner centric method, for both it is more flexible. Then in one area the classroom is silent, whereas in the other area the classrooms are more lively. There is one way flow of education or one way flow of knowledge in teacher centric method, whereas in learner centric method there are multiple flows of language. And for example, in teacher centric method we have lectures, instructions, presentations, etc., whereas in learner centric method we have case studies, assignments, computer assisted learnings, interactive videos, etc. So just some differences. You can have your notes with you, you can have a look at it. Now, which are the different methods of teaching? We already told we have teacher centric methods, learner centric methods, content centric methods, as well as interactive methods. But what are those methods? What all can we actually use? What all can we actually make use of to actually teach students? So that is we are coming to right now, the different methods of teaching. The first one is we have a lot of methods, like maybe 15 or 20 methods. So we'll go each one by one. Most of them are actually very familiar to you. The first one is the lecture method. The lecture method is actually an oral presentation of whatever the subject is. It is an ancient method addressing a large group of people, and it is actually a one-way communication. So we all know what a lecture method is. The next one is the demonstration method. Teacher demonstrates the procedures to the students, explaining or showing the work practically. So whatever happens in a laboratory, whatever happens outside, taking students outside and actually demonstrating it. So it is used mainly in mathematics or science. Next one is the heuristic method. The teacher gives a topic to the students, and the students find out the information related to it. So it's just like an assignment or a seminar or something like that. So the teacher just gives the topic, students have to go inquire, search, do research, and then find out using solutions from library, labs, internet, etc. So that is called the heuristic method. Next one is a flipped classroom. Something we have already discussed. The flipped classroom, teachers record lectures and share them with students. Teachers share links or videos with the students, and the students can watch it in their own convenience. And the students, before the teacher comes into the class, the students are ready with the subject. They have already gone through the subject. So before the teacher comes into the classroom, the students are ready with the subject, and maybe the teacher comes into the classroom, or maybe the teacher records the videos and then gives it to the students, or share links or something like that. So it is actually a new generation method of teaching. Next, the kinesthetic learning, whereby there is a hands-on learning, more emphasis on physical activities. It is actually learning by experience, role playing, drama, acting, sports, etc. So using actually like this, the role plays, dramas or sports to actually learn is called kinesthetic learning. Next one is discussions. It is two-way communication between teachers and students, or between students, whatever it is. Discussion can happen between the teacher and students, or between the students themselves. Both of them, it is actually two-way communication. It can be a planned discussion or an unplanned discussion. So maybe the teacher can come into the class and say, okay fine, today we'll have a discussion. So that is actually a planned discussion. Otherwise, in between a lecture, a student asks some questions, the teacher replies, and then another student asks questions, and then student asks questions themselves, they discuss among themselves. That is actually an unplanned discussion. So a discussion can be planned one or an unplanned one, it's fine. The next one is team teaching method. Here two or more teachers plan the activities, aids and strategies for the same set of students. So this happens in many colleges nowadays. That means one subject is taught by two or more teachers. They divide the subjects among themselves. They sit together first. They decide how to teach, what all strategies to teach, what all to implement, and then they teach the same set of students. That is actually called the team teaching method. Then we have open learning. Here there is no barriers of age, place or time. Students can learn whenever and wherever they wish to. They have choice when to study and when to attend the exams. It is mainly for employed persons, housewives and students from remote area or village areas. One of the most familiar example is the distance learning. So when I say the points again, you can understand. When the distance learning, no barriers of age, place or time. Students can learn whenever they want and wherever they want. They can attend classes whenever they want, they can attend exams whenever they want, and it is mainly for employed persons, housewives or students from remote area. So distance learning is actually an example of open learning, what we call as open learning. The next one is a project method. So projects that we have in our degree programs or the post graduation programs, the same thing, the project method is an activity based learning where the students conduct research, carry out surveys and present the results or present the findings and suggestions. It can be done individually or in groups. So we can actually assign a project to individual students or to group of students, and they have to go out, do a research, carry out surveys and then actually present the findings. And then we have panel discussions. Panel discussions mean we call a panel, maybe from inside the college or from outside the institution. The panel can be invited or experts can be invited, and discussions about a topic are done by panel members. The panel can be chosen from within the classroom or from outside. Experts can be invited. So it's actually a discussion method also, but apart from discussion, there is a panel that discusses the topic. It's not like the entire classroom is in the discussion. Just a panel is there for discussing, and the entire classroom they can maybe ask questions or give feedbacks, but they are not actually part of the discussion. Next one is brainstorming. So in brainstorming, what happens is participants share their idea about a particular topic. So they are given a topic and then they share their idea. Maybe they are given a problem and they are told to find out solutions. So what happens is the ideas or the solutions flow without any control or evaluation. They are actually told to give solutions or give ideas how much ever they want. So it actually flows without any control, and we actually list this down, or maybe write it on the blackboard, maybe list it down in a notebook, and then in the end what happens is the best ones are selected. So we get a lot of solutions. Maybe some solutions are actually irrelevant, maybe some are not actually possible to carry out, but still we get a lot of we get a lot of solutions, and from these solutions what happens is we can in the end we can choose the best ones. So that is actually called the brainstorming. Next one is role playing. It is actually very familiar. Roles are assigned to the students and then interaction takes place between them. It's like just like acting out a drama or acting out a play. So it helps to understand, it helps the students to understand different perspectives. So each student is given a different role and they are actually made to play an act or enact something. So the students who are watching, they get a different perspective about each of the characters. It increases critical thinking, creativity, reasoning ability and negotiating ability. So the watching students as well as the playing students get a very good idea about what is actually going on or how to solve a problem. Role playing and all, we actually use it in a human resource, HRM, or subjects like that, whereby we need to get a perspective, where we need to get a perspective of different people. Next one is simulation. So simulation means students learn an environment similar to the real one. So we create a model of the environment similar to the real environment. They get problem solving skills, and it is helpful for medical students or management students, etc. So what happens is maybe it's in some management games and all, we actually create an office room and then we tell them to enact it as if it is a real office. So we create an environment just like a real one and then we see how they behave. So that is actually called simulation. Next one is TV or video presentation, which is very familiar. We play educational videos or educational channels. It can either be played in the classroom or link can be shared to the students, and it is done because, as I said earlier, the visual impact in the minds of students actually lasts longer. Then there is live session. Live session means it is just like TV or video presentation that we just talked about, but what happens is here there is two-way communication. In TV presentation there is only one-way communication, but in live sessions there is two-way communication, and it is classrooms or classes through video conferencing. So the students can ask questions to the man or woman in the video. The person in the video can actually talk to them. So there is actually two-way communication. YouTube sessions, Facebook Live, etc. can be actually used for live sessions. The next one is computer assisted learning, whereby learning is made efficient, active and easier with the help of computer and internet. So there may be whiteboards, smart classes, projectors, computers, CPUs, everything. Hardware, but the problem is the hardware and the installations are actually a bit expensive. But once we can install it, it is actually a much better way of learning. This one, the computer assisted learning. Then comes seminars. Seminars means experts from the similar areas or experts from the concerned areas are invited, and they address a group of students. They present papers or topics, which is followed by discussions or question answer sessions, and the topic of the session or the seminar is decided beforehand. So we first decide a topic, we invite some experts on that topic, and they talk to the students in the classroom or they talk to the students in the area, and then the students will have a discussion with the expert or they will have a question answer session. Then comes assignment, which we are all familiar with. Assignment means self learning as an extension of what has been taught. So whatever has been taught in the classroom, the teacher gives an assignment or to an extension, something extra, and it develops a research attitude in the student. The student goes out, he finds out something from the internet, he does research from textbooks and all. So it actually develops a research attitude in the students, and the teacher should actually plan it accordingly. The assignments, the teacher should plan it accordingly. The last one is case studies. So these are events based on real life. So it is assigned to the students. Students study the case and they should actually understand the problem, identify the problem, and they should solve it and make recommendations. This is actually followed by a feedback session. So in case study, the student is given a problem, they read the problem, they find out what the problem is, they identify the problem, they give solutions, they give recommendations, and then there is a feedback session. So these are some many methods of teaching. Actually, I'll go through it once more: the lecture method, demonstration, the heuristic method, flipped classroom, kinesthetic learning, discussions, team teaching method, open learning, project method, panel discussions, brainstorming, role playing, simulations, TV presentations, live sessions, computer assisted learnings, seminars, assignments, and case studies. So these are actually all the things that a teacher uses in the classroom, or maybe a teacher should use in the classroom, so that the classroom becomes more lively. Just not the lecture method, just not assignments, using all these, the computer assisted learnings, case studies, simulation methods, maybe live sessions, team teaching methods, role playing. It actually makes the classroom more effective. It actually makes the classroom more interesting. It actually makes the students more interesting, so that the teacher can keep on teaching and the students can understand it better. Now, what are some offline and online methods of teaching, or what are actually the differences? The offline method means we are not using internet, we are not maybe using computers and all. It's just an offline method. Although online method has become the preferred teaching method for majority, but the offline method, we cannot actually avoid it completely. With online training courses, the course attendant who are attending the course can actually benefit from more flexible teaching or flexible approach, because it is unrestricted by location. It is actually people from far away can also learn. So actually the online method has far more the advantages than disadvantages. But the thing is, with offline learning and all, it is easier to ensure that the attendees are paying attention. So for example, if you are giving a TV lecture, or if you are sharing a link of a video, you don't know if your students are actually listening to you or paying attention. For an example, this is an example. I don't know whether the students listening to this are actually paying any attention, or whether they are doing something else. But in an offline classroom, when a student is in front of me, I can actually know whether he is paying any attention. I can actually know whether he or she is understanding something. So that is actually a benefit of a online offline teaching method. And if imparting a skill or imparting some training, while online training, online skill impartment and all, I don't know whether you actually has acquired that skill or not, or whether you have actually understood my training and all. But in offline sessions, when a person is right in front of me, I can actually assess his skills or training. So there are benefits to both sides. So we should actually use a combination of both offline methods as well as online methods. So coming to some online methods, what are some new areas that we can discuss? So in that, the first one is Swayam, second one is Swayam Prabha, third one is MOOC, that we actually called as MOOCs. Then we have ePathshala, NPTEL, etc. So some of the online methods that have the backing of the Indian government, or that have the backing of the agencies of the educational institutions, or backup of the government education sector. The first one is Swayam, Study Webs of Active Learning for Young Aspiring Minds. So that is a full form of it: Study Webs of Active Learning for Young Aspiring Minds. That is Swayam. It is a program initiated by the Government of India and is designed to achieve three cardinal principles of education, that is access, equity, and quality. So everyone should have access to equal access to quality education. So everyone should have access, everyone who should have equal access, everyone should have equal access to quality. So this is mainly for rural areas or urban, anyone can use, but it is based on the principle that everyone should have access to quality education. The objective of this effort is to take the best teaching learning resources to all the people, including the most disadvantaged people. So maybe they are disadvantaged by location, maybe they are disadvantaged by education, so but everyone should get equal opportunities for quality education. It seems to bridge the divide. There is some divide, education divide. Some people are very educated, some people are not. So there should be a proper bridge so that everyone can be educated. Swayam is actually a concept for that. Swayam platform is developed by the MHRD, the Ministry of Human Resource Development, and NPTEL, IIT Madras, along with the help of Google Inc. and Persistent Systems. So there are some institutions behind Swayam. I'll tell it once again: the MHRD, the Ministry of Human Resource Development of the Government of India; the NPTEL, the National Program on Technology Enhanced Learning; IIT Madras; Google Inc. and Persistent Systems. So these are the 5 institutions behind Swayam. So it would be ultimately capable of hosting 2000 courses and 80,000 hours of learning. So there are more than 2000 courses and 80,000 hours of lectures or learnings, or whatever it is. So that is actually Swayam. So it covers school programs, undergraduate programs, postgraduate programs, engineering courses, law courses, professional courses, etc. So it is actually a very exclusive, very extensive type of platform where we can have a variety of courses and a very huge amount of hours of learning. The next one is Swayam Prabha. This is also an initiative of MHRD, the Ministry of Human Resource Development. This is an actually educational channels, just like our DTH, just like our the cable channel. These are also 32 high quality educational channels through the DTH, the direct to home DTH dish, across the breadth and length of the country 24/7. So it is available all over the country 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and it actually broadcasts 32 high quality educational channels. So they keep on giving out education informations or knowledge and all 24/7. It has new content every day for at least 4 hours, which would be repeated 5 times a day. So at least 4 hours of new content, 4 hours of new knowledge is being broadcasted every day, and this is being repeated so that no one can actually miss it. So the students can choose their time when they want to watch it. So if they miss the first broadcast, they can always see the second broadcast or the third broadcast or the fourth broadcast, so that everything is same. So at least 4 hours of new education is given every day. The content is provided, the earlier content, as I said, Swayam content is actually provided by MHRD, NPTEL, IIT Madras, Google and Persistent Systems. As well as in Swayam Prabha, the channels are maintained by, or the channels are uplinked with, the contents are provided by NPTEL, IITs, UGC, IGNO, NCRT and NIOS. The InflipNet Center maintains the web portal. So content is provided by all these, and the portal is maintained by InflipNet. Then we have MOOCs, the MOOC, Massive Open Online Courses. There are online courses free of cost. So it is taught by prestigious Indian and foreign institutes. Anyone can enroll in it without any restrictions. It comprises of videos, notes, handouts, online tests, online exams, etc. And on completion of these courses, certificates will be provided. So that is MOOCs. Then we have e-Pathshala. So Pathshala means a school or a classroom. So this is e-Pathshala, so electronic Pathshala. It is set up by the Government of India, MHRD and NCRT. It is a platform which has a wide collection of textbooks, audios, videos and other materials, and it can be used by teachers, students, researchers, parents, etc. So anyone can use it. It's a platform which has a wide variety of textbooks and videos on learning. The last one is NPTEL, which we have been talking about, the National Program on Technology Enhanced Learning. It is a joint initiative by IITs, IIT Bombay, IIT Delhi, IIT Guwahati, IIT Kanpur, IIT Kharagpur, IIT Madras, IIT Roorkee, and as well as IISc, the Indian Institute of Sciences. So it is a joint initiative by most of the IITs and IISc. It provides online content for teachers and students. So these are some online learning platforms. We have the Swayam, Swayam Prabha, MOOC, e-Pathshala and NPTEL. Notes will be provided to you so that you can have a look at it.